How to tell if you're a starseed. Do not worry, because Nicky Sutton from Spiritual Awakening, she has got you covered. She is at the ready with her eternal wisdom and her, raising the vibrational frequency of the planet and ascending to the 5th dimension, 4th density, and all of that stuff. She has got you covered with her not at all vague generalizations and her really quite strange mannerisms. Let's talk about this, please. As far as ways to tell if you're special goes, I think this is up there with how to tell if you're speaking light language and how to tell if you're ascending to the 5th dimension. What it shares in common with those things is that, there's not really like a clear way to tell if you are these things. Really, you're sort of encouraged to decide for yourself. You're encouraged to see if you resonate with these things, There's no greater authority than you on this kind of thing, which is honestly really empowering and not at all a recipe for disaster. Hey everyone, if you're new here, I'm Andy Fellows and I make videos on cults, skepticism, and making sense of life after New Age spirituality. If you're interested in a more grounded and skeptical approach to New Age spirituality, then why not subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. So quick recap on what a starseed is if you're not familiar. The idea of a starseed is apparently that your soul is from another planet, and usually one of the cool planets that we're already aware of, and one which New Agers have written a bunch of lore about and imagined what aliens are from there, and it's a whole thing. I actually did another video about it earlier this week, so after this one, if you want a bit more from me on this, then check that video out. I'll pop it in a card at the top. So the video that we're going to look at some of from Nicky Sutton today is a bit of an older video, and it's before she sort of became more of a meme of herself and started to speak like Jim from Friday Night Dinner.
And I know I always felt that way. Not just because I was odd.
The hiccups, but sort of in reverse.
Anyway, let's have a look at some of these signs that you might be a starseed from Nicky Sutton here.
Number 1, you're a bit obsessed with something. It could be that if you're here on a special mission, that you're a bit obsessed with something or just have more than a passing interest in something.
So I think that sets up everything that I would want to say about what Nicky's saying here. If that doesn't strike you as both an obvious overgeneralization and just a bit of a silly thing to pick up on in order to build an idea that you're actually from space, by the way, I don't know what will. I love that the first thing on her list is like, if you're from space, then actually you might be a bit obsessed with something. It's like we're setting up there the idea that anyone who has a passion is from space, and possibly anybody on the autism spectrum also from space. Brilliant. Great strong start there from Nicky. If you're enjoying this video as we're going through it, by the way, please hit the like button. And of course, this kind of a Barnum effect riding thing isn't gonna stop throughout this video from Nicky here. In fact, what I've done is I've gone through the video already and I've written out a list of all of the kinds of traits, all of the characteristics, all the signs that a person might actually be a starseed, right? And I'll read you through them in a second. Before I do, I just want to say 2 things. 1, if you're enjoying this video, then you should definitely follow me on Instagram. I've been posting these little slide kind of things over there, which kind of cover some of the stuff that I'm talking about on the channel, but it's in sort of a more bite-sized format. So if you want a little bit more of me in your social media feed, then check out my Instagram and definitely give me a follow on there. The second thing I was going to say is this move from Nicky and this whole Barnum effect riding thing, I've given it a name. I'm calling it the Nicky Sutton Netrul. That's what this is. This is the widest net casting I have ever witnessed in anything like this, and you'll see exactly what I mean in a second. So really what Nicky's doing is she's casting her net so wide that the applicability of anything that she says is effectively damaged by how widely she's casting this net, how vague she's being about this stuff. Throughout the duration of this video, she makes so many claims that so many different kinds of people could be starseeds. As I say, I went through and I wrote them all down. So here's the list, right? Number 1, spiritual people, especially those people who want to tell other people that what they believe is true. So I guess communal narcissism is just like a thing here. Anyone who's communally narcissistic is from space. Definitely won't add to their sense of grandiosity. 2, anyone who feels sad watching the news. 3, anyone who wants to help humanity in any way, shape or form. 4, anyone who believes in ghosts or God. So I guess all religious people are aliens, which is going to go down really well with the everything is demons Christians, the really intense ones. They're going to love that. 5, as she mentioned here, anyone who's a bit obsessed with something, which is quite a jump, it has to be said. It's quite a jump to go from like you're a bit obsessed to you're from space, by the way. Like that is quite the leap of faith. And here's where it goes really fucking mental, because she's basically saying anyone with common sense is a starseed. So anyone with common sense, your soul might be from outer space. Brilliant. And then, of course, all children who do things children do, like ask a lot of questions and question the status quo and try to understand why things are the way they are, and maybe think that the way that things are a bit stupid because it doesn't make much sense to them, which again, all children, that is all children. So I guess that's good news for anyone out there who's ever been a child. So at this point, the question is, who's left? Are there any humans on this planet at all? Of course, it doesn't matter if this is true. What matters is if it resonates with you, because the New Age is just the church of vibes. You know, I've said that on the channel before, and I'll say it 100 times over. This is the church of vibes. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if what you're saying is true, if you can verify it, if the way that you're going about verifying the truth of something is literally just the most vague generalizations you can imagine. What matters is if it's empowering. What matters is if it makes you feel significant. If you hear it and it feels good to you in some way, that means it resonates, right? That means you're in alignment with it, and it's in alignment with your vibrational frequency or whatever. So it must be true. Live as if it's true. Treat it as if it's true. And then just go out there and tell everyone that it's true, and talk as if you've discovered a hidden truth of reality. And this is evidenced by Zoe Ariel's somewhat less detailed way to determine if someone's a starseed.
First of all, you wouldn't be watching this video if it was not within your vibration. So, I mean, welcome. Welcome, Starseed, because you probably are one.
So breaking this down a little bit, a large portion of this conversation on starseed missions and stuff is centered around the idea that people who are here on this planet at this time, who have incarnated as starseed souls or whatever, they're here for a specific purpose. They're on important business, you know. And this is exactly where this kind of communal narcissism thing, I think, is bound to enter the picture, right? Circling back to one of the points on that list earlier was the idea that if you're spiritual and if you feel like you want to teach people about spirituality, then that means you might actually be a starseed, right? The trouble is with that is in New Age circles, the bar for who can teach and what is actually worthy of being taught, the content of a statement having anything within it that's worthwhile or true, the bar for what is worth teaching and who can teach it is so fucking low. Like literally anyone can just go, I'm a spiritual teacher, by the way, and then there you go. I fucking did that once upon a time. And literally just about anything passes for deep spiritual wisdom in these circles. Like literally I could just sit here now and just say the way to manifest your desires and ascend to the fifth dimension is to get your vibrational frequency in alignment with your highest good and listen to the messages from your higher self. And the way that you do that is you let your intuition guide you towards what resonates. Like literally all of that is a spiritual veneer over just obvious platitudes rolled up with a bunch of deepities in. Another one is like, we're all the universe experiencing what it means to be human for a little while right now. And the way that you grow as a person, the way that you ascend to the fifth dimension is you recognize that actually you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And you actually, when you came here, you forgot that was the case. But now you're remembering because you have to forget to remember. That is spiritual content these days. That is what passes for spiritual content these days, and people fucking lap it up. Honestly, New Age spirituality is a great way to feel like you have something to offer and some sort of expertise or some sort of insight or wisdom that you don't have and that you've put absolutely no time or energy or effort into gaining. Like literally, if you want people to adore you and to think you're wise and insightful for no good reason, having put no time and energy into actually earning the respect of anybody who's genuinely wise or genuinely insightful, then New Age spirituality is for you, I gotta say. Like if you're fond of sitting on your own ass and doing empty mind meditation and telling yourself how profound your own ideas are, you've found your people. 100%. And please just don't take that as me pointing fingers, because I was there. I was literally there. I'm describing myself about 6 or 7 years ago, like legit. But circling back to the point here on like whether you're a starseed or not, I think this whole sort of vague sort of Barnum statement, you know, Nicky Sutton net trawling approach to trying to determine the truth of something is indicative of a real issue within New Age spirituality in general. It is in a sense the epitome of this issue. And a good example here is this whole, you know, happiness is found within kind of an idea, which Nicky Sutton gives us a rendition of in this video.
We are obsessed with materialism in order to find happiness, when really happiness is found within.
And that is such a superficial deepity. Like, yeah, obviously to some extent, and yes, it is true that if you base all of your happiness on external things, then there's a good chance that that happiness is going to be temporary. A significant determiner of the level of happiness that you have access to based on the things you experience in your life is going to be down to your internal state and, you know, whether you're struggling with your mental health and the way that you see things, the way that you frame things in your mind. Obviously, that is going to be the case. But still, there are certain things that the greatest, you know, most beautiful things in life, like a walk in the forest, time with your loved ones, food, sex, all of these things are like such integral parts of the human experience. Live a life without those things and tell me that true happiness is within, you know. I know that might read as somewhat of a superficial exploration of happiness, but honestly, I really feel like this idea of happiness being within is such a vague oversimplification of the reality of happiness as an emotion, as if it's some sort of divine thing that can only come from the wellspring of your soul, you know, as if it's some sort of spiritual treasure that we have. Also, if you didn't have a body, you wouldn't be happy, because happy is chemicals. So what it all comes down to really is how to tell if you're a starseed is very similar to how to tell if you're ascending to the fifth dimension, or how to tell if you're speaking light language, or how to tell if anything in the new age, basically. Really, it comes down to, does it resonate? Do you want to believe it? Yeah, okay, you're sorted, set. And all these kinds of videos with these sort of broad, you know, very vague generalizations in essentially act as sort of enabling fuel. They sort of act as ego strokes to make you feel even more good about the idea that you're probably more special than everybody else. Like, the thing is though, what is wrong with just being human? Like, when did that become too little for people? Like, why can't we just stand outside at night and see the stars? If you live in a place where there's no light pollution, right? Stand outside at night, look at the stars and go, wow, that is beautiful. Me as a human on this planet, hurtling through space in the way that I am, so tiny and so insignificant, and yet so unlikely, right? Why is that not enough? Is that not beautiful enough? Is that not incredible enough? Why do we have to look at the stars? Ignore all of what I've just said there. Ignore everything around us. Ignore the improbability of our very existence at all and go, oh, I'm from there, actually. Alien me. What is wrong with people? The new age is an awful mess, and I'll say it 100 times until I don't need to say it anymore. Normally when I make videos like this, there's stuff I can't include in the video, be it due to like time constraints or because YouTube doesn't like you talking about certain things on the platform. So one of the things I've started doing over on my Patreon is I've started creating these little like audio companion things that go along with at least one video in the week and sort of explores the topic in a little bit more detail, maybe goes into stuff that I couldn't really cover in the video. There's actually probably like a month or two of audio companions up there now, so there's plenty of content to dive into if you're interested in that kind of thing. So if that does sound like something you're interested in, or if you just want to support the channel in general, then check out the Patreon link in the description below. I'm Andy Fellows. I'm here pretty much every Thursday and Sunday. If you enjoyed the video today, please remember to hit subscribe and stick the little bell thing on so you get notified. Otherwise, please be kind and ask good questions, and I'll see you in the next one.